boundless icy deserts covered with a thick layer of snow. It's hard to believe that these Arctic landscapes can harbor many different life forms. Today, we will talk about a sea monster that weighs up to 4,000 pounds, a monster that can easily capsize a boat full of people. A monster that inspires horror filmmakers to create new masterpieces. You are on the channel Animal Instinct, and today we are reviewing walrus. Don't forget to rate this video and subscribe to the channel, and we are already starting. A whale horse that walks on its teeth is exactly how the name walrus is translated from Latin. And if everything is clear with the word whale, then he got the horse thanks to the considerable speeds that he can gain underwater. After all, a walrus can accelerate up to 13 miles per hour, and with such a size, it looks even more impressive. Outwardly, it is quite difficult to confuse walruses with anyone else. A powerful, dense body with very thick skin and fangs that can reach 3.5 feet in length. And the mass of such giants can come close to the 4,000 pounds mark. But this is a Pacific subspecies, while the Atlantic subspecies is slightly smaller in size and has much more modest tusks, but they can also become a formidable weapon if necessary. It should also be noted that the skin of walruses, reaching a thickness of 4 inches in some places, as well as a 6-inch layer of fat. It is this that allows Uncle Margin to swim in the cold Arctic seas and endure frosts of up to 40 degrees Celsius. As for the skin, everything is interesting with it too. In young walruses, it is usually dark brown, but with age, it becomes lighter and acquires a pinkish tint. After a cold bath, a walrus may turn white. The thing is that the skin is saturated with blood vessels, which decrease during such bathing. While swimming, the walrus plows the bottom layer with its tusks, looking for various invertebrate mollusks, which make up to 90% of its diet. And this feeding usually occurs at a depth of 260 feet. Moreover, in order to eat, walruses have to dive for quite a long time, because per day he needs to eat about 110 pounds of seafood. And this is no less than about 5,000 shellfish. Also, on occasion, you can eat octopus, squid, and even young seal. True, this happens quite rarely and only during severe famine. And if the hunter is tired, then he does not have to crawl ashore at all. He just needs to inflate the lifebuoy. Walruses have special bags on their necks that are formed due to the protrusion of the esophagus, and they invented inflating them to create more buoyancy. For example, a walrus can swing on the waves like a float, showing only its head from the water. True, only males are satisfied with such an additional function. They even use their tusks more widely. For example, you can use them to climb onto an ice floe or make a hole in the ice. Margies also sometimes use their tusks to hold onto the edge of the ice hole. Well, they also do not hesitate to use them for their intended purpose, for example, in defense against a polar bear. This is a very dangerous and fast hunter that can reach a weight of 1,100 feet and have claws 2 inches long. But it is not so easy to pick up a walrus and drag it away. Its skull is twice as thick as that of a seal, and its thick skin protects its internal organs from damage, and the fight can last a long time. True, here the second walrus comes to the rescue and plunges its huge tusks into the hunter. The blow was so deep that the bear immediately retreated and walked away limping. Unfortunately, this is his last hunt, but sometimes the club-footed ones resort to cunning. They climb high coastal cliffs and throw large stones onto the walrus rookery and then descend for their prey. And such cases were reported by northern tribes a couple of centuries ago, and the Marges themselves like to climb higher. But a great danger awaits them here, because due to global warming, the ice cover has disappeared in many places. The descent to the sea passes through sharp rocks, and since walruses can rest in thousands, there is often a crush in such places, and walruses often fall off the rocks. This coastline is littered with the bodies of more than 200 walruses, and the mortality rate from stampedes on the shore has increased dramatically in recent years. And besides, cruel morals also reign in their herds, especially during the mating season. Indeed, due to the lack of females, strong competition arises among males. And of course, during a showdown, they happily use their tusks. Sometimes such fights end in severe injuries and the death of one of the fighters, but this does not happen often. Still, thick skin and a fat layer protect internal organs from damage. True, young members of the herd can be crushed by fighting males. Pregnancy lasts about a year, and only one baby is born. Its weight starts at about 132 pounds, and the walrus immediately knows how to swim. And since females care for their children for a long time, they bear offspring not only once every 4 years. The whole flock looks after the cubs. During landfall, there are sentries throughout the territory who, at the first opportunity, sound the alarm and protect the babies. They warn their relatives of danger with a special roar. Needless to say, researchers need to stay away from walruses because they often mistake animals near a boat with people for strange animals and immediately attack. Another thing is Margie, who grew up in captivity. Such walruses have a more flexible temperament and flexibility in hair training. Employees often note their friendliness and lack of conflict. And in such favorable conditions, a walrus can live up to 40 years. As for the population, margins have long been the object of fishing. Initially, only the northern peoples were involved in this, and later the rest of the world joined in. The tusks of giants were of particular value among hunters, although all parts of the killed margin were used. This led to the fact that in the 19th century, the population of the Atlantic margin was practically exterminated, and now it does not exceed 20,000 individuals. The Pacific margin was luckier, but its population currently does not exceed 200,000 individuals. Although who knows what to expect from these pinnipeds from humans in the 21st century. That's all. I hope it was interesting, and you learned something new about this northern resident. Then don't forget to rate it. Write in the comments who to make the next video about. Subscribe to the channel and don't forget to turn on notifications. And I say goodbye to you for a while, for now.